In today's video, we're going to be going over some of my favorite fragrances out of my entire fragrance collection. So as of right now, these are currently the ones that I'm loving the most, wearing the most, and just overall thinking about the most. As always, this type of thing changes because as we get new fragrances in, that kind of will shift. If I find something new that I like, that's going to kick out something else that I was once obsessing over. And you guys know the drill, right? It's just kind of a constant revolving door to some degree, but there are some fragrances that have kind of maintained in this upper level of my collection for years. There's actually a couple of them in here towards the end of the video, but we're going to start off the video with potentially some newer fragrances, at least to some extent. So as always, I'll drop links to everything I talk about today in the video description. If you want to do some shopping below retail, you can check those links and find the best prices. Now, this first one is one of my favorite designer releases of the past several years. Easily. This stuff is so impressive. It is Hugo Boss bottled Absolute. This one has incense, patchouli, leather. There's some myrrh, some amber in here as well. Man, this is so good. Now, you've probably heard of this. In fact, I know you have, but there's also Boss bottled Elixir. That one came the year before this one. And that's kind of what started the hype. That's what planted the seed. You know, people got their hands on Boss bottled Elixir and enjoyed it and really started liking it. And then Boss bottled Absolute came out the following year, and it was all downhill from there in a good way. People went crazy for this stuff, and I see why. You know, I've said it before when it comes to talking about something like this, but this is what we've been asking for. This is a designer fragrance and a designer brand that's trying to step out of the normal box and do something different. It's not a blue scent. It's not an aquatic freshie. It's not like a sweet scent in the terms of being like a chestnut tonka bean type of playful sweet scent. It's more of a sweet, smoky, resinous, kind of mature type of scent with a lot more depth and richness behind it. That's what this is. And I love it for that reason. It's probably the best Hugo Boss bottled release we've had so far, this and Elixir. And to me, again, it's one of the best designer releases we've had in the past couple of years, just talking about everything. And you can actually get this one on sale right now, 100 milliliter testers for about $100, which is the lowest price we've seen it for in a while. So that'll be that first link down below in the description if you want to pick this one up for $100. Recommend it before that one sells out. Okay, this next one is on the newer end of things as well. And I've already told, you know, just my whole thoughts on how this release was executed and kind of why I think it was set up to not do as well at first, but now people are coming around to it more. So I'm going to spare you that whole rant, but it's Chanel Allure Homme Sport Super Leggera. Started off as a limited edition. And so, you know, at the time, I bought one bottle, not really sure what I was going to think about it, and also not fully knowing that it was going to be a limited edition. Ended up getting it in, and at first was a little bit confused by it, but then over time, I started wearing it more, and then it was just like, man, as much as I hate to say it, I love this fragrance. Kind of like what happened with Bleu de Chanel Exclusive. So overpriced. I was really kind of hoping I wasn't going to like it that much because of the price, and I ended up liking it anyway. And so, you know, at one point, and so over time, and it was gradual, this kept working its way into my fragrance rotation and has just become one of my all-time favorites from the Allure lineup. And I've said it before too, but in terms of, you know, what I have right now, this is probably my wife's most requested scent for me to wear. Like on the rare occasion I do ask her, hey, what should I wear today? Because usually I just decide for myself while I'm down here. It's just easier that way. But when I ask, it's always this. This is the one that she recommends, and I'm cool with it. I put a little bit of a dent in the bottle, and I did actually go ahead and order my second one. I had talked about it in the last video. I got one from Macy's, which leads me to the other thing I was saying. It's back now. And from what I've understood, from what I've seen people say online anyways, I think it's here to stay now. Okay, so I don't know for sure. That's just kind of what I've seen. Who knows if they're going to pull some tricks on us and take it away again. But as far as I know, it's back for good. So the you know, rush factor of, oh, I need to go get this right now, from what I understand is gone. You know, you can wait. It's not like a huge deal to get it right now if you're worried about it going away. Okay, so you know, you don't have to go make a drastic decision to go do that. You can sample it first. You could try it in store first or blind buy it if you think that that's what you're going to like. This one has musk, orange, citruses, and grapefruit. And the notes are going to be somewhat similar to the pre-existing, you know, sport series, just the regular one mostly. And ultimately, when you smell this, essentially, it's kind of like combining brighter parts of Versace Pour Homme mixed with that still kind of creaminess of Chanel, Allure, Homme Sport with a different twist entirely. So it's not just combining the two and that's it. It's also throwing in a little bit of a unique, I don't know, like a unique citrusy, fruity blend that separates this from Allure Homme Sport. So like Allure Homme Sport, it's all about the orange, the mandarin orange primarily, with I think some C notes and some musk and tonka and stuff like that, right? That's kind of the main idea. This one is again pulling in some the orange, but it's also bringing in some lemon, some other citrus. It's giving it a little bit of a brighter punch as well, almost a little bit of like a sour, punchy citric accord. And then just this very, almost kind of aldehydic airiness, this really unique texture. This has always been one that's been kind of hard for me to describe. It's one where you're best trying it, you know, and once you smell it, you'll see what people are talking about and why they're liking it, because it really is amazing. It's one that I wear it and then I'm hooked on it. And I'll wear it the next day and the next day until I finally break myself from the cycle to go wear something else, because it's just no need to wear it days in a row when I have other things I can wear. But for me, this is one of my top fragrances right now. I love it. I think I spent too much time on that one, so we'll move a little bit quicker going forward here. But this next one is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Parfum version. Again, it's hard to choose a favorite when, you know, they have so many fragrances in the line that are amazing. You know, we could include, you know, the things like Platine Privé and stuff like that, the fresher summer versions, which, you know, again, those could be included. They're just all limited editions. But I'm really talking about the Eau de Parfum and the Extreme, two other amazing fragrances in the lineup. The first one using cherry and almond, the second one using plum and tobacco, and now this one here using amaretto and almond and patchouli. So a little bit of a boozy alcohol accord in here, which kind of surprises me that they took this long to do that. That seems like that would have made sense a few flankers ago. But hey, I'm glad we have it now. It smells amazing, and this is pretty much exactly what I was hoping for in a flanker from the brand, because I knew we hadn't had that yet, and I figured it would make sense at some point. I just feel like some sort of boozy accord mixed with that kind of almond would work good, and it does. It works really good. Patchouli, like I mentioned, to give it just a little bit more of a refined woodiness and a mature smell. If you want quality, this is it. About 120 bucks for 100 ml. Keep in mind, this is technically niche, you know, so even for a designer scent, that's not horrible. That's not out of the realm of normality these days. 120 bucks for 100 ml designer. That's you know, kind of par for the course for a lot of the higher end designers. But this is niche, okay? So that's still a big difference here compared to most niche, and it is well worth that money. This is amazing. Now let's go for Tumi 19 Degree. I've had this one for a couple years now. I think I got it when it first came out, and I did, in fact, pay the full retail price, which I think is $170, $175. If you look right now on discounters, it's 58 bucks. Okay, so this is one that is a huge, huge price difference between full retail and what it's finally landed on at discounters. And the price on discounters, it took a while to get there. So it's not like it was, you know, it was retail for $175 and then the next day it popped up on discounters for 58 bucks. It started off around $100, I think, and then it worked down to 90, 80, 70, 60, and you guys get the idea. So it was a gradual descent, but I paid full retail because the note breakdown intrigued me. You know, it's that raspberry leather combination, which I love. I love that combination. And so you get that here. You get some birch woodiness as well. You know, people have compared this to Creed Aventus. It's not that simple. There's maybe, if you really think about it, there's a bit of an Aventus similarity in terms of, I guess, scent character or profile. But beyond that, this is not another Aventus clone, which is a good thing. You know, I like raspberry. It's so underutilized, and that's why whenever a fragrance uses it to the point where you can actually really perceive it, I enjoy it so much because it's unique. It makes it stand out. Mixing with leather, that's a blend that you can't go wrong with. That's like bread and butter. They just typically, you find those two notes paired together. Plenty of woods in here, as I mentioned already. So just a very versatile, mostly all year round type of scent. Pure parfum concentration, 58 bucks. Beast mode performance as well. I mean, for the money, this stuff is amazing. And you know, everybody likes the cap as well. You've got a locking mechanism, metal. It's pretty cool. All right, now this next one here is newer in general as well, and somewhat newer to my collection too, and one that just, it makes sense why I like it so much. It is Armani's Acqua Profondo. This is the Eau de Toilette version, which is very important. Now, you know, of course, I love Profondo EDP. That's where Profondo started. I loved it ever since I first got it, you know, just back in 2020. And then they released Profondo EDP here recently, where they changed the bottle up, made it look more like this, and then they designated Eau de Parfum right here. And then this Eau de Toilette version came out, what was it, last year? Something like that? Not 100% sure, but very, very recent. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where they start with the EDP and then they go backwards and they go to, well, I guess they go to a Parfum and then they went all the way back to an Eau de Toilette. They're just filling in the cracks with this one, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But, and as much as it looks like it might be a cash grab because it's like, why do we really need an EDT? That's part of what I thought when I saw this one first. And then I tried it and then I was sold. This one has Calone, mineral notes, lemon, grapefruit. So this is still that Profondo DNA that we love, but the opening is so much more bright, so much more vibrant, so much more refreshing. It is so, so good. Man, that is my favorite part about the scent by far. The Profondo EDP opens up amazing as well, very bright too, but this one is next level. It has this vibrance, it has a sparkling kind of quality to it, this effervescent sparkle. It's just, it is so, so good. And this is truly the scent of summer. You know, there's a lot of fragrances that smell like summer to me, and I love summer and I love my summer fragrances, so it's hard to choose, you know, a favorite. And I'm not saying that this is my all-time favorite, but it's up there. But it really does have this oceanic, kind of cooling, refreshing, vacation type of smell. Now, I wouldn't say it's tropical smelling. You know, for me, tropical would be something more like Les Beaux, you know, with like coconut and stuff like that. Or even like Tommy Bahama St. Bart's, which has more of a tequila, lime, sea salt smell. That really has more of a tropical, like, vacation resort type of smell. This doesn't necessarily have that. It's more of just like a cooling, refreshing, oceanic type of smell that you would often, kind of pair with a vacation. But it's just, to me, again, there's a designation between tropical and just smelling, you know, oceanic and fresh. And that's what this one is here. You know, for some people, this will be redundant, 100%. So make sure when you're going into this one that you go with that in the back of your mind. Like, do I need just a brighter, lighter version of Profondo? If the answer is yes, then you might want to look into it. If you don't, then skip this one, you know, because you do sacrifice a little bit of performance here. Remember, Profondo EDP is an EDP. This is an EDT. You don't have quite the same longevity, so that's another trade-off. The other thing is this is a little bit cheaper typically too, which does help somewhat. Ultimately, for me, the performance part of it is not a letdown for me. I love the way it smells. I love how bright it is. And it's just, this is the Profondo that, if they would have released this version first, I would have been over the moon thrilled with it. I mean, it is just absolutely amazing. All right, kind of running down to the end of the video here with an obvious one. It's Creed Aventus. Feel like, I kind of stopped featuring this one altogether, but I can't let it completely die on the channel. I've still got to throw this one in from time to time. This is one of my newer 100 ml bottles. This is kind of the one I wear from the most. That's why there's some missing here. But I have some others too, 2 or 3 other 100 ml bottles. I also have one of the 100 mls with a metal cap. So this is still the older plastic cap here. They did upgrade it to a metal cap, which is nice. I still wear this a lot, even just at home, even casually, right? I figured, why gatekeep the juice, right? Because it's not, I don't mean gatekeep like tell people about it, that ship is more than sail. But I mean for myself, it's like sometimes I think, I'm not going out, I'm not doing anything. I shouldn't waste the scent by just wearing it at home. But then I thought that's probably about the dumbest thing that I can really think about. That's the worst thought process, because then the stuff just isn't getting worn. It's not getting used at all, and it's going to waste in more ways like that. So I do wear this one at home a lot, and I enjoy it, and I'm glad that I do. It's a favorite of mine. It's one that I've loved for years. So many amazing clones as well, so I'm not going to be the one to tell you that you have to get this, okay? That's not the case. You do not have to spend the money on this. If you want something that smells like it, there are plenty of options, of which I've covered basically all of the important ones on this channel. If you want a quick recommendation, Armani Club de Nuit Intense Man, preferably the Parfum or the Extrait. They've named it a few different things. Extrait Limited Edition is the one I like. You could even go for something like Mont Blanc Explorer, which is a little bit more subdued, not quite as punchy and vibrant as Aventus or that Armani. but still a good option. This is probably one of my most worn fragrances ever. In fact, I think it is one of my most worn scents ever across all of my bottles that I have of it. Just a favorite. I love it, and still is one of my top choices ever. And last up for this video, we have Rabanne Invictus Aqua. This is the 2024, but of course it started off as the 2016, of which I have worn heavily. This is still newer in my collection. It's just newer in general, so there's not as much missing yet. I actually do still go back and wear my 2016s. Not as much, you know, typically I try to save them. Again, for probably stupid reasons, but that's just what I do. But I do wear this quite often. I've got another bottle of this too that I keep upstairs that I wear. It just makes things easier. Typically, the things that I wear a lot, I keep a bottle upstairs. That way I don't have to come down here to get it. And also, Rosassi House, right? I wear the crap out of Rosassi House. Also have some upstairs that I typically use for traveling. It's about half full, and I'll use that when we're going on trips because I can just throw it in the suitcase, and if for whatever reason it did break, you know, well, it's cheap and it was half empty anyway. But Invictus Aqua, yet another summer vacation type of scent for me. This is the smell of summer. It smells like you're sitting by the pool, on the lake, on the beach, you know, just very bright, vibrant, refreshing, citrusy, a little bit salty. Truly an amazing scent with amazing performance as well. Has been one of my top players for years, and that probably won't change. And I hope that they keep this variant around, although unlikely. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some of my top fragrances right now out of my entire fragrance collection. I will drop links to all these down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.